Well, when I initially wanted to make the film, it's because I was intrigued so much by the name Ghaib. Ghaib means mother of the absent. In Egypt and in very particular places, women cannot be called by their name. They have to be called after their sons, or, well, if they have a daughter, but preferably sons. So if she has a son called Muhammad, then she's Muhammad. But in these areas, if she cannot conceive, they call her Ghaib, or mother of the awaited, or the absent. And for me, well, it sounded a bit poetic, but also melancholic, because I mean, it's very hard to like remind the woman every single moment that she cannot conceive or she cannot have a child. So I just wanted to make a film called Ghaib, and I didn't know what's the film about. And when I met Hanan, who's the main character of the film, she was very inspiring, because from her place, she's illiterate and she doesn't know a lot about the world, but she speaks philosophy the whole time. And she always questions, why is she here in the world? What's the meaning of life? The meaning of happiness? And this thin line between life and death. And for me, that was very profound. And I thought, well, I want to make a film about this and about her yearning. And she inspired me in a sense that, okay, maybe I don't want to make a film about a woman who's trying to have a baby. I just want to make a film about a human being who's trying to reach a dream and he will never achieve. And what if this dream comes true? Will this give him happiness, or happiness is just an illusion? So I thought, this is the question of the film. This is the premise. Upper Egypt is a bit far from the city, from Cairo, from where I come from, and the culture is so different, but it's very stereotyped in a sense. And I was trying as much as I can to put all my judgments aside, to be able to see this place without my own views. Well, of course, I cannot deny it's a male-dominant kind of area, but it's a place with a different reality. And maybe if I was brought up there, I would have been the same. But as for the hardships on a technical level, of course, well, being a woman there is not, I cannot, for example, rent a flat, because I have to be either married or I have to be with someone from the place itself, so that was a bit difficult. But I had my assistant director and she lives there, so I had to stay at her house, and that really helped a lot. But also we had a hard time in filming sometimes, because at that time it wasn't politically very stable, and it wasn't so okay with us being with cameras and all that, so some people were really skeptical about us being there, so we got caught twice. We didn't sleep in jail, but it was a bit difficult on that sense. And also finding the money in the production and the industry, you know, documentaries are not so popular in Egypt, and we don't really receive any funds from the government. We had to work a lot on fundraising, and the crew was amazing, and for a year or two they worked without receiving any money, just working on the film, believing that they want this film to happen. Well, I think I'm just very perseverant. I'm loyal. I'm trying to push myself to my limits and not to lose faith. I know many other women Egyptian filmmakers, and they're very stubborn as well, and they've done films that travel the world and won prizes, so I'm not the only one. But surviving this, it's coming from the same spot, that they're really perseverant, not just because of the country, but inside our ghetto. I mean, even for filmmakers, it's not that easy, because the industry is very what's it called? Enclosed on entertainment. They want only films that are commercial, and this is the government gives money only for this. So we're not just fighting the country, but we're also fighting the industry to be there and to allow different forms of films to be there. So we help each other a lot, really. And we try to find other platforms in different countries around the world to be there. That's why what you're doing here is very important. As for the country, yes, of course, because the country is not that flexible in allowing, if I may say, arts to be there. But this is very underneath the skin. It's not direct, and it's not so. Yeah, if I can say, if there are many doors we're trying to knock, there are a lot. I think it's very important to maintain the culture exchange, because Japan had a very great influence on Egyptians all along. Their history of war, their survivor of the earthquake, and even their literature, their films, everything. For me and for many people from whom I know, Akira Kurosawa is very important, and also Miyazaki. He's been very inspirational to many filmmakers and many people who are trying to be animators in Egypt. They like him a lot, and they watched mostly most of his films, and they're very popular in Egypt. And also the literature, like Kawabata or Murakami. I mean, they're my favorites, actually. I love reading both of them. I know many people around me who are very passionate about Japanese culture and arts and films. So I think the culture exchange is very important, and also allow not just art forms, but I mean platforms for both Japanese and the Middle East to kind of know each other and learn more about, the different aspects. So I think maybe that's very essential, that we find someone who can make this bridge. I think arts is always something that really reflects the soul of any country. This is my point of view. I believe that, for me, for example, I've learned about Japan through literature and film. For example, Murakami's book, I've been taking some of the places and looking for them on the map. Where are these places? Because I want to visit them. So I think it's very essential it would be very, for me, good if I learned that in Japan, for example, people are watching our films or reading our literature. And that's why we work a lot on subtitles and pay a lot of money, because this is how you get the chance to be seen by the world.